What's going on, y'all? My name's Bless. I've been surrounded by hip-hop my entire life and literally grew up in the music business. Behind the scenes, beyond the music, the industry, and the streets, these are our stories. Join me as we explore the culture that defined our generation. This is The Moment of Truth. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Bless, and you are locked into the Moment of Truth podcast. To the left of me, I got Lemme-Kno, and today in the building, I got some very special guests for y'all. Very excited to have you, gentlemen. Banx and Ranx. Make some noise for Banx and Ranx. Long overdue. Thank you very much for coming.
Indeed.
I've been knowing this gentleman, Soke, for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
I think originally I had met you through one of my first producers, Ray.
Yes.
Before you guys linked up and formed your super group duo. Speak on that a little bit. Let me know some of your background, how you guys linked up, and how you guys came into the scene.
Yeah, so basically, I followed Soke for a couple years before he reached out.
More of a stalker vibe or a social media thing?
Yeah, kind of. So basically, I remember a friend at uni was like, yo, you should check out this guy because I'm coming from Guadeloupe, which is a French Caribbean island, and I used to do a lot of reggae dancehall. And he was like, okay, this guy is like a hybrid artist doing the hip-hop and dancehall thing at the same time. And I found it really interesting. In French.
Days, yeah.
It was, I think, La Tâche Souterrain.
Ouais.
Yeah.
Ouais.
And then we were Facebook friends because you know how it is. Sometimes you just like add people. I mean, back then it's not like that anymore. By the way, people don't do that. Don't friend me on Facebook like that. It's Instagram for this now.
But it was a way of early networking.
Yeah. Just adding people.
Because you saw like 750 mutual friends. You're like, damn, I kind of do know him by default.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, asshole, we know 300 people in common. Fuck you if you don't answer me. It's a good way. That's how I'm going to get my next feature. Make a note, please.
And then what happened is Soke found one of my remixes, I think.
The blue remix.
The blue remix for FL65.
This is like legit one of my childhood's biggest songs. I'm blue, dabba-dee, dabba-die.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
One of the most cheesiest commercial smashes of all time.
That was in the Napster days. And
I remember that song. I used to hear it all the time. I was in grade 10 in high school.
Yeah.
And there was a scummy bar across the street from my school. And for some reason, the mentally deranged owner of that bar used to let all the underage kids spend their lunchtime in a bar with the lotto machines. And we used to like play pool and drink on our lunch hour. And that fucking song,
that's great.
And we'd go back to school drunk. And off camera, you asked me why I don't speak French well. Well,
that's
now
why,
we have an answer. So back to I'm Blue.
Yes. So Yannick made a trap remix, and I was like, this is genius. I saw the hashtag Montreal. I'm like, that's impossible that he lives in my city and I don't know about him.
Yeah.
Let me reach out. He says, yeah, I know you from a long time. Let's link up. I saw that he was a dog dude. I saw his dog. I'm like, okay, so his dog is cool.
My dog.
Yeah. Let's meet up. It was strictly for business. Let's see what we could do together. And we just clicked.
Dope.
It was like
instant.
Yeah, I think we both have very strong solo careers before, but I think our linking up was probably a defining moment in our career in life.
We clicked right away. I remember at the time when we started to speak, I was in Brittany in France. And we're like just chatting and stuff and sending some songs, whatever. And then we linked, I think, had a couple beers on the terrace. And it started from that day. Then we were like, yo, maybe we could work on some pop stuff together because I knew he was really like strong at pop. And so we started it and then worked, I think, I was working on my solo project at the time. And I was like, yeah, could you like put some vocals down to this and then add some reggae parts and stuff? And then we're like, you know what? Let's actually do something about it and let's start a band together. So it's all.
I think we just both had the same vision for where we wanted to take our own music together, and it's like complementary. We kind of needed each other's skills in order to get to that next level.
Exactly.
Well, the whole point in forming a team, right? If you guys both played the same position.
What's the point?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like the equation 1 + 1 = 3.
Where the name comes from, actually.
Yeah.
That's what I was just going to ask you. Why Banx Ranx? What's the meaning behind it?
It's complementary forces, you know, yin and yang, two.
Basically, it's the Jamaican vibe of yin and yang.
Exactly. Two forces that need each other, that are interdependent to create something, like two molecules creating a new element.
That's dope. Yeah. So for a minute, a good friend of ours, Pat from 16 who actually has the studio right above mine.
Really?
Yeah. Well, he's been there.
Oh no,
he came to the building because of us.
Yeah.
We met when he first started doing. He had like 2 videos out, 3 videos out. I was like, this guy's dope. I was like, yo, I don't know who you are, but can you come meet me? And he was like, sure. Like,
that was
I love
with
your
Karma back in the day, right? When he
this
did the
was,
Karma,
I think he
or
had
Troy done it.
Troy, he had done Troy, and I called Troy. Shout out to Troy Dunnett.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
I actually just bumped into Troy in the same studio. He's a personal trainer now.
Okay, nice.
And we were chopping it up, but Troy's an old friend of mine from the 8-Track and Chromeo guys and all those Obscure Disorder days.
Yeah.
And I called Troy and I'm like, yo, this guy's dope. Is he your boy? And he was like, yeah, he totally, like, he knows who you are, bro. Like, just call him. And I'm like, you sure? Like, and then he's like, yeah, just call him. Chopped it up with Pat. He came to meet me at the studio and he's like, hey guys, this
is bad, bro.
I see him 4 days a week. He's like, he basically is A&R'd every record I've ever done in the last 10 years. I mean, by default, because he always comes, smokes a cigarette, has a piece of like Dutch chocolate or some Polish.
He does smoke.
Sweet. He's like,
so here's what we're gonna do.
He's like, this is good, but the drums are a little dry.
Shit.
Yeah,
he will use the S word.
Shit.
He's actually, he's my quality control. He's my little Vietnamese guy who comes and makes sure there's no flaw on the Timberland or the Nike. He's
passé, dude.
No, but I love it because his direction is always spot on, and
always
obviously
on point.
He has a great ear and a great eye. So he was like, yeah, I love the space, and he was like, fuck, I think I should get a room here. So he got his first studio, and I'm sure you must have gone there when he was in the other...
Right next door, yeah.
Exactly. It was right across from us. Like, my door was here, and his door was here. And then we upgraded down the hall, and he got the... right on top of floor up. So we've both been in the same office building for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
So that's my brother, and he was always talking very highly of Soke. Like, yo, out of the handful of people I think that you should work with, I think Soke is one of them. And when he would say that, there's so many people in our city, they're not serious or they're not about their business. But when Pat said like, this guy's a standout, and then I remembered, you're a hard face to forget. I remember like seeing you once or twice with Ray and shit.
Yeah.
So when we eventually ended up clicking up, it was just natural. And then this gentleman, I feel like I'm the Waldo or the Pokeroo of this guy. I've met him 40 times, and every time he was like, "Oh, you're blessed," and then again, "Oh, you're blessed," and I'm like,
"No, just last time."
No, because the first time it's a joke, but I met you with
Tom Lapointe.
Your boy, mastered my record, and then these guys were in the other room. You and Gary's. I feel like you guys were working together right before you guys did the Banx Ranx.
No,
right?
we actually.
You guys already had Banx
it was already Banx
Ranx
was already a thing, but Gary is a really old friend of mine from
he's
Guadeloupe
dope too,
as well.
Man.
Yeah.
Fun fact is our first big hit was with Gary. It happened randomly, just an old beat that we send over to our management, and then Tayo Cruz wrote a song on it, and then it became a gold record in the UK.
What's it called?
Kiss Me.
It was Ollie Murs that
Ollie
performed
Murs,
it, but it was big record in the UK.
Sick. So that was your first major placement together.
Yeah, and with Gary as well.
And with Gary, that kind of enabled us to get the nice publishing deal and start the process.
That gave you the leverage. So speak on that a little bit more. So you guys formed Banx Ranx. You guys have this first placement, and now you got management first, publishing deal first. What came first?
Actually, just to put the things in context, so for probably a year, I think, We started to do a lot of remixes, like putting out remixes every week of like classic dancehall and reggae songs.
And you were working like SoundCloud, YouTube. What was your platform?
Yeah, man. We milked the
milked
shit out of SoundCloud. And can I swear or no?
Yeah. Crazy.
Fuck that shit. I'm gonna swear now.
Yeah. So our business model was based on remixing and building our fan base with remixes, free remixes, giving away everything. And I think we got up to like 50,000 fans on SoundCloud, or
60 or something like that. But we were really strong on the SoundCloud game. And then,
what did you guys find was the best strategy SoundCloud wise? Because I know a lot of, up and coming artists, it could be overwhelming. There's so many platforms. There's so many ways to go about it. What did you guys feel, you could attribute your success on SoundCloud to? What was the strategy? Was it remixing shit that was already trending on SoundCloud?
No,
it
just
was
old classics.
Yeah. Like the
classics.
Like the classics Sean Paul, the classics Bob Marley. I think that was the first one, actually.
All songs that we knew we wouldn't have any trouble with copyright.
Sure.
Yeah. But
and
that
what was the strategy?
It wasn't really...
SoundCloud-wise, to be specific.
SoundCloud-wise, it was, I think naturally it had a little bit of clout, if I can say, because I think at the time...
It was the golden age, right before it started going down, yeah.
Yeah, this...
Right before they tighten up every algorithm to fuck you and monetize everything.
And we had this free download stuff, so you used to have an app linked to your Facebook page, and people had to follow you on SoundCloud and Facebook to download the songs.
Yeah.
So basically, you would say leveraging Facebook to SoundCloud.
Yeah, as well. So we kind of created a small community on the Facebook as well that is not huge, still is stayed there. But anyways, no one really used Facebook for this kind of stuff anymore. Yeah. I mean, we do, but it's...
But how did you leverage a couple thousand on Facebook to 50,000 on SoundCloud?
Good music.
Well, that's obvious. The people are going to choose. But
I'll be really honest, is because the reggae trap stuff that we're specialized in at the beginning, that blend...
It didn't really exist.
It didn't really exist.
Yeah.
So we really created, I'd say, that proper organic reggae electronic sounding on the drops.
Which was heating up
stuff.
with Major Lazer, I'm sure, at the time and all that shit already.
They did some, but it wasn't sounding like that because I don't know, for some reason it wasn't... The thing is, with Soke, he really had unlocked this authentic reggae sounding.
Oh, he's been doing that.
The formula,
skanks and bubbles and stuff, and I had that really like drop hard
bass
EDM stuff,
and trap,
And this is really where we created at the beginning Banx Ranx. It was because he was bringing such this organic textures and stuff.
That roots rock reggae vibe on that real
on that
dub electronic,
trap electronic dubstep, whichever you want to call it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was basically to bring Caribbean culture to the EDM and electronic festival crowd.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah.
Right?
So were you guys getting playlisted a lot at the time? Like, what was helping gain that 50,000?
I remember some YouTube channels as well were reposting
Trap Music
Ganja
HD,
Media, Trap Music HD, all those at the time where YouTube was actually a thing as well to playlist stuff. I think that's pretty much it. And
did you get any placements like Spotify, like the big mixtapes or anything that like maybe pushed towards it?
Not back
that was
then.
after.
That was after.
That
through
was
the
after.
labels.
Fair.
But I think we were still shooting in the dark back then. We didn't really know what we were getting into. It was basically just, let's do this, see where it leads.
And
Split testing,
do a bit
they
of
call
touring
it.
with it if we
Let's
could.
try this with this track. Let's try this.
But it
with
was
that
very a narrow view of what we could actually do.
Sure.
It's only when we started doing sessions with songwriters in the UK and even LA and Jamaica that we kind of understood that, maybe we're not limited to a Jamaican electronic sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worldwide.
Why put yourself in a box?
Exactly.
So speak on a little bit. I'm curious. So from SoundCloud was your first momentum.
Yeah.
I would say. So from SoundCloud and that placement,
the next step was finding our manager, Steve Jervier, who's the GOAT. If there was a manager award, like a Grammy manager award,
that would be him.
He would win the Grammy. Yeah.
how did you guys link up with him?
Randomly online. We wanted to remix one of his artists' song. Back then, we just looking for opportunities, and they never replied. The production company never replied. So,
but the weirdest thing about it, right? Because Soke was on this reggae site, reggae site called Reggaeville. and at night before to go to bed, right? And
Yeah,
you
it was
just
3
saw that
a.m.
super small, like
It was like
image.
a very small icon, and I was like, okay, Chris Shane, I don't know this artist. Let me check it out. So it was like it kind of called me to click on it out of hundreds of other artists.
randomly.
Yeah. And then no answer, and then I just followed him on Facebook and commented one day on one of his videos, and then I think 12 hours later, 24 hours later, we got an email from his manager. He didn't listen to our music. He just saw the logo and the name.
Just saw this logo here,
Yeah.
right here.
Nice.
That
And
logo.
he was intrigued. He was like, "Okay, what is this? Let me look into it." And then we Skype dated for 6 months.
Literally.
Yeah. And he had a plan laid out for us, and everything he told us was first realistic and happened right on time.
I remember one thing Steve said, and it was a really funny story, and we realized it like when we were talking about like the beginning, and he was the first thing he asked us, said, who you guys want to work with? And we were like, Sean Paul.
At that time, that was like, this is the pinnacle.
That was the dream. And
Do you guys know my boy Fahrenheit?
No.
Farron was Sean's hype man for many years. They're like this.
Really?
He's always with him. He backs him up on stage. And
Of course I know Fahrenheit. Yeah.
So-
It's Farren Zizi.
Oh, okay.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
It's his
Okay, yeah,
name.
So he's a good friend of mine, and Sean and his brother. I mean, I've been knowing these guys for years, and I used to work with Circuit,
Yeah.
with the
Oh, I didn't
producer
know that.
Circuit
Nice.
back in the day.
He was
when-
living here, right? Or in
actually
Toronto?
was in Toronto,
Okay, yeah.
but I wasn't living in Toronto at the time too. So I met them when they were just starting out. They had a band called Let's Go to War, where they were doing their electronic stuff, and me and Circuit did like 5-6 songs.
Nice.
Just before I met Pat and my producer that I've been working with for years, Mano Sound Machine, and me and him had done some tracks, and one of them we got Farron on. So such a
Sick.
small world, you know, and that was more in the electronic, in the electronic.
And they're really a tight clique there. I mean, Sean and his people,
Great
they're
guys.
always
Entourage
all
hasn't
together.
changed.
The
Great
entourage,
guys.
yeah, seems to be the same
From the
from-
get-go, yeah.
Shout out my boy Oren. Yeah, they've always been great, man. We would always party when they would come, and
So you know Steve as well, his tour
Yeah,
manager.
yeah,
they're
of course,
amazing.
of
His
course,
Steve
of
is not,
course.
not our Steve, his Steve. But
Well, we
great
have
guy.
we have tons and tons of stories. with
Everybody needs
Sean.
a
He's
Steve
great
in his
guy.
team, man.
Yeah, man. If you don't have a Steve, then you're
Get
not
one.
winning, bro.
He's a great guy. So where's your manager based?
London.
Okay.
Our whole
London,
team is
UK.
based in London, and funny enough, everybody's Caribbean.
Yeah.
Jamaica, Barbados, Dominica.
Well, that's a big hub out. I feel
Guadeloupe.
like Canada was Toronto and
Yeah.
Europe was London, right?
Yeah. So we've been blessed, no pun intended,
You definitely
to
have.
find Steve, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna get you a management deal." So he got a joint venture with Lateral, who's they're based in Sweden and London.
And London, yeah.
So they manage
LA as well back then.
LA.
I think they kind of backed off a little bit from the LA office,
Yeah.
but they're still running like big acts and stuff.
That's dope.
Because he's a street dude, so he needed somebody to handle the corporate stuff.
Absolutely.
So he linked up with them. We signed with them, and then publishing deal came around, and then labels started knocking on the door because we were messing with songwriters and artists from all the labels in London. So you would walk into a building, and
And the tag at the time was really aggressive.
We
It
would
was
put
like,
the-
Banx Ranx.
I remember that.
Yeah, Banx Ranx, like, you know.
so
Banx and
So
Ranx.
A&Rs would be hearing the tag and like, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Oh, okay. So they connected the dots, and then we got the record deal.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
good for you guys.
We weren't
So-
even looking for a deal. We're like,
So Parlophone, for those who don't know, is I believe Lemmy was telling me one of the oldest
Yep.
record labels, and
Started in Germany, I think. Yeah.
and the home of
the
Adele.
Beatles.
Not Adele.
Not Adele. Adele wasn't.
Gorillaz,
Okay.
Coldplay, David Guetta,
Tiny Tempa.
Tiny Tempa,
Beatles, of course. Queen.
Lily Allen, Beatles, Queen. Yeah. Then the
old-
old legend.
It's a pretty good company. Like you're okay there.
Sold a few records. They'll be able to survive the drought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dream come true, I'm sure, for you guys after a lot of hard work, after a lot of sacrifice. I asked these very specific industry questions because I feel like in our business, there's so much information. It can be so overwhelming to people that are just starting out.
It
What
is.
platform do I work? is management the thing I should be shooting for? Is a record deal is a publishing deal? I feel like a lot of people don't even understand the difference
between all of
all of these
it's really
things.
hard to understand.
So I find like it's really valuable to have cats such as yourself who've swam through it firsthand and came out the other side successful, to be able to kind of, pick your guys' brains as to, like, what do you guys think right now is the most important platform for people such as yourself to
start
buzzing
with?
on? Yeah,
I'd say good management, huh?
Management is the key. I mean, it's hard now, I think, to know where to start. Like, Spotify is controlling everything, and you can get lost easily.
You can
on
get
those
lost easily.
platforms.
So you really need, I think, strong management to have strong ties in this business, and that know people. Where we're really lucky is that Steve is
I mean, he's a producer, he's a DJ,
and he's
label
well
owner.
placed, and he has old, lasting
I don't
relationships.
know if you're aware of Black Market Records.
I actually have heard, yes.
They're like,
one of the biggest record shops
shops in the UK.
Yeah, sure.
back then.
Yeah.
And he was one of the founders of Black Market Records.
Yeah, so I could tell he's probably a guy, without knowing him, who's a very core guy in the scene in London.
Yeah.
He put it All Saints together back then and stuff like that. So basically, he's been through like a different, like every decade of the music for the past 30, 40 years almost.
Yeah.
He's been into it. And and he's been the DJ in New York as well, in LA and Paris and everything.
And I love that you say that, because I think so many people have this false narrative that, labels are out the window and people don't need management, and they could be discovered themselves on social media. No, that's how you become a drop in an ocean.
Yeah.
Yes, there are few people who have freak, luck that might upload something and it takes off for whatever reason. But even with a lottery ticket, you have to know how to invest those winnings.
Yeah.
And you have to know how to navigate to have a career and not just be a flash in the pan. So, and I mean, I think it's interesting because that's something that hasn't changed in 30 years of this business. Live music and the need for a proper management and business structure.
I think one of our strong aspects is when we created Banx Ranx is that we created the group as a business.
Yeah.
Getting the logo, getting all the socials done.
I love that.
Like a
Please,
company.
Tell me more.
We incorporated, we went on lawyer, accountant. We got three companies set up.
But that was after, I mean, when we really started
that was after we got
the management deal, because we were like, okay, money's going to come in, so now we need to be aware of how we're going to structure where to pay, like tax and stuff.
Which I think makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But was that were you being urged to do that from management, or was that kind of your own?
No, that was
your own.
That was
initiative?
We negotiated a lot of our deals ourselves. Actually, for people listening, there's a book called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business.
Donald Passman.
Yes, my man. That's the first step. That's the first
Bible.
Step. Yeah,
the Bible.
But definitely, if you want to take your career to the next level, get yourself a manager. It doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who's well connected, but somebody who has that drive that can get through any door.
And more than that believes in you, like
number one fan, and that has a ear that can be an A&R at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I think of our good friend Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney at SoCan, that is the A&R at SoCan.
We were all together.
Through us, got into the business, but didn't have any contacts. But his personality sells everything about him.
Yeah, great guy.
And because of his strength on social, with all the social skills, he just gonna make anything happen. And this is why Quebec is actually moving in terms of music. As you can tell, hip hop is more and more there and stuff like that because of
being
people
represented
like
by people like him. Yeah, he seems like a really great guy. I don't know him well, but the first couple times we met, he grabbed me, yo, bless, we got to do this, we got to do that.
Energy.
And that's the energy and the momentum that I feel like was missing for a long time in our scene. And a big reason that we wanted to do this project was to create that group conversation, this unity, and have this spot that we can all sit down, pick each other's brain, and help each other win. Because when people were, and you remember it,
Yeah.
People were off in this corner. People were off in this corner. The French
all
and the English
segregated.
weren't communicating. The French and the French had beef. The English and the English were catty. But now we're starting to see with guys like yourself, guys like Loud, guys in English,
We gotta
French.
get Frenchie Blanco back on the mic. I miss Frenchie.
Shout out Frenchie. But you know, with you know this momentum happening, it's starting to become a business.
Yeah.
And not a hobby. And I feel like a lot of people in our scene locally back in the day were discouraged from doing what you guys were doing with setting up companies and really looking at it like a proper business because they felt realistically this was a hobby.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think in Quebec we have the mentality of being small.
Mm-hmm.
We keep perpetuating this idea that there's not a lot of money.
We heard that a couple times, eh?
So I have to do everything myself
Tell me
in
about
order
it.
to generate the more profit so I can survive. So it's about survival, lack of structure, lack of education about
Yeah.
the business. And maybe sometimes we're kind of closed into our small market.
But I'm seeing that slowly, obviously, technology has helped
Oh, yeah.
bring people together. But I'm seeing that mentality slowly melting away. And I love to see it, man. I love to see, like, even the other night we were all at, actually, you weren't there, but
At the
we were there.
Joyride party.
Yeah, that, you
Oh,
know,
damn.
shout out our boy Los.
Oh, damn.
You know, they had a
was a hell
little
of a
party
party.
for the launch of their new office.
Yeah.
And we were there and you know, a bunch of other people. And it's great to see the English and the French now mixing.
It's really developing,
And
yeah.
everybody coming on the podcast.
And we have a guy that's winning. We have a guy that's really like Loud is on a level right now.
It's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Selling out the Bell Center. Like that helps.
love it.
That helps
That's
everybody.
a
at that
We
statement.
love it, absolutely.
Yeah, it does.
State,
And you
man.
have to see it that way. You can't be like, oh, man, I want what he has.
No,
okay, but yeah, you
never,
can get
never.
it.
Because and also what's really cool is what you guys are doing is completely your own lane.
Exactly.
Going through the European market. What Loud's
There's no
doing
competition.
is
It's just-
completely his own lane. What we're doing with the podcast is completely our own lane.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is that we're
Link all that
unified and we're
together, yeah.
supporting each other.
Yeah.
And you know, me and him have always had a really great rapport. And you know, fucking, you know, we have 100 mutual friends, but people weren't working together.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see finally, I can say this year,
Yeah.
that conversation's coming together. Me and Rough Sound got a bunch of records. And the time is really now.
You got to do a podcast with Rough Sound as well.
Oh, of
yeah,
course.
Whitney as well from SoCal.
That'd be
I was-
dope.
I was
Of
gonna
course,
say it,
of
but-
course.
But we
course.
really we're serious about staying here and building here instead of
love
because
that.
I mean we could move to LA, we could move to London anytime, but
Yeah, and they tried a couple times. Management was like, guys, come to London. We can keep you busy like every day of the week. And we're like, yeah, but no.
Do they bring you people here?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
That's amazing.
We had some few talents that came at the
Yeah.
studio already
Yeah.
from abroad, and that's a pleasure because then we make them discover
Come
the
into our
city.
world. Yeah.
And Montreal is a really special place as well for all the people listening and never been to Montreal.
Yeah.
If you see
It
this,
is very
Montreal is a
special.
really special place. It's a
Yeah.
blend between European culture, American culture, in the middle of sometimes I heard no man's land.
Yeah. And you know, we're really spoiled because in Montreal, we
Yep.
kind of have access to everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Without it being completely unattainably expensive. You know, try and live the lifestyle we live in Montreal and London.
It's impossible.
I don't gotta tell you,
You
guys,
can't.
you better be 100 millionaire, not a millionaire.
Yeah. 100
Millionaire is not even
million.
a baller. You're
Nah.
just
No,
middle
no,
class.
no.
You better be 100 millionaire. Because you're competing with the fucking
100%.
oil sheiks and
Yeah.
the richest in the world.
Yeah.
You're a peasant when you go, no matter what you're doing, you know. And in Montreal, bro, we just have we have so much access to shit. And whenever I have friends of mine in the music business, be it the biggest artists or just people behind the scenes, they're always tripped because they're like, "Yo, you guys got something crazy."
It's a nice incubator.
It's a beautiful incubator, and now I feel like, look at all the festivals we're getting, you know? You got Metro stepping up now. You got Beach Club doing shit every weekend. You have still the Bell Center going strong. You have Osheaga, you have Ilsan. So now it's like, hold up. If we just add a couple more to this calendar during the winter months, we are kind of a very interesting international player, and it's
Sufficient
coming
as well,
there,
yeah.
and the infrastructure. You know, Snow, he was joking with me about, you know, fuck, bro, it's like one of my favorite cities. I love coming to see you, but the traffic is unbelievable. You know, but the interesting thing is, a couple of years from now, we will have a completely brand new infrastructure.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully.
Hopefully it doesn't implode.
Yeah, where did you get that? They're redoing everything. Like, what new infrastructure are you talking about?
The highways are being redone.
They just done the new
Yeah.
bridge as
Condos
well.
are going up like
Condos, yeah,
fucking-
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I
yeah.
just the city, like, they're spending a lot of money on redoing everything now.
That's true.
And I think that
Very true.
in the long run,
Yeah.
this will benefit the tourism and the festivals. And I feel like Montreal has had this agenda
Yeah.
of slowly transitioning out of being the Miami or the Las Vegas North
yeah,
into
yeah.
like corporate, like Ottawa, like
I mean,
you
we're
know,
pioneers in technology.
Yeah, big
born.
startups here
And
and,
I-
stuff.
and-
Yeah, that's true.
And I
That's
think
very true.
for
Shout
old
out
school
Pornhub.
scumbags like us, it might be annoying, but in the long haul, it might be really
Yeah.
cool.
But even like music wise, I think it's a plan to bring in foreign money and keep it here.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
To,
about.
to like feed the industry
Yeah,
and
feed the arts.
Montreal always got a bad rep as being a great city to be an artist. But
true.
then once you had the product, what do you do with it? And now
Exactly.
because we live in an age where you're online,
Yep.
you kind of have more of an opportunity being from here
Yep.
in this beautiful creative space.
Well,
you know?
I love that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
say
yeah.
that, Lemmy, and a microcosm of that is the Francophonie. So for me, I was involved in the scene of French hip hop very early
Yeah.
because the cat that I met, this gentleman, through originally Ray, was one of the French rap pioneers. He produced my first 2 albums, and he would kind of work on my first album and at the same time Sans Pression's first album.
Yeah.
And I came through that machine, and then I got picked up by Guru, and the rest was history. But I mean,
that was a beautiful era.
yeah, it was a beautiful era. So I would be running around with Gangstar, in the States and in the rest of Canada. But when I was in Quebec, I'd be running around with SP, with Ray, with
Yeah.
Les Architectes, with,
And Boss.
with everybody. You know what I'm saying? And
Rest in peace, Joe BG.
yeah, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely, RIP. And then when I Am would come here for the Francophonie and Funky Family, I would take those guys out and we would go pick them up from the airport. And
Damn,
I remember the Francophonie. Actually, I ended up doing a track with Freeman for
really?
Nabil from La Cosca. He had a compilation album, and him and Ray put me on that. So that was really dope.
sick.
And we kind of. I remember seeing the Francophonie being on this little stage near where Sona used to be on Blurry in a field, and there was like a couple hundred people there. It wasn't a second-rate show at the time; it was a third-rate show,
Yeah.
and we were happy to see fucking I Am, and there was like 400 people in front of an empty field.
That's mad.
So this summer, I'm walking downtown, and Ruff hits me up, come through.
Yeah.
We're all here, and fucking. I see Gorillaz and my good friend from back in the day who did a couple tracks on Plattenberg Manifest, his DJ, fucking 100,000 people or whatever, 80,000 people. And so when you see that growth locally, that kind of speaks to what you're saying. As a French artist, you no longer have to leave to play at the Bell Center or to play. And now that business model is going to become very interesting for companies that are going to want to take part in this and fund
That's
this.
really true.
And radio
That's a really
is
good
open
And I don't
now
think
to-
a lot of us realize that we are going to be in a better position.
Yeah.
We just got to build that pyramid
Yeah.
with guys like us at the foundation, and whoever hits
the
the
goal.
pinnacle is the politician. That's
Yeah.
okay. We talk about the favorite name everybody loves to drop, Drake, but we forget that Drake is at the top of the hill, but there are hundreds of careers that have been built and dozens of millionaires off of his success
Because of Drake,
definitely.
of
in
course.
Canada
Yeah.
alone.
Oh, yeah.
He's an industry, and
So we can definitely do the same thing here.
we will definitely.
gotta
It's
lead and
inevitable
do
at
it,
this
basically.
point.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
inevitable at this point, and it's whether what you guys are doing through Parlophone, what I've been building, what Loud's doing with Los, and I think sky's the limit.
I think we got a Nate Husser and a Mike Shab. We got some
Yeah.
guys that are
Zach
really
Zoya
spitting
as well.
nowadays.
So yeah,
Of course, but it's not about, and this is what I keep preaching, it's not about one artist, one project,
No.
it's
It's a
one
movement.
producer. It's not Bless, it's not Banx Ranx, it's a movement.
Yeah.
And bro, there's definitely enough pie for everybody.
It's happening.
This music shit is collaboration based. You
Definitely.
guys know better than anyone. I would love for you to explain the real process of making a hit record. Is collaboration, collaborate. There's no I.
It's key. It's key.
You have
know.
to be able to leave your ego home
Aside,
when
You
you
have
get
5,
into the
10
studio.
writers on one smash.
Yeah.
Do you think that you don't have 5-10 people you're collaborating with to be a superstar artist or producer? Logically, it's collaboration oriented.
Yeah.
That's this business.
Yeah.
It's literally, I think, one thing we used to say and we still say is like it's all about collaboration. When we go to the UK or the US, you end up in a room with four is a good number in a room, but it could be 5, 6, 10 people. And I'm always saying to people, because a lot of people want to keep it for themselves. They're like, I write, I produce, I'm like, cool, but would you like to have 100% of nothing or 1% of something big?
Of 100.
Yeah.
Now you got your 100.
Yeah.
Speak to me about the Dua Lipa record that you guys did.
That was cool. That was organized by Management in London 3 years ago.
3, is it 4 now?
So it took a while to come to
time
fruition.
flies,
right?
yeah.
3 years ago, 3 years and a half, yeah.
A lot of times our songs take a while to come out, but
It was the third trip we've done in London.
Early
I think it
days.
was
Yeah.
early days.
and that was one of the first times that we built a song from scratch in the session.
Yeah.
It was actually a loop that we did with Rough Sound and Billboard
In Montreal.
in Montreal before leaving for the trip, and it was amazing. It was a great session.
So, yeah,
she was not that big at the time.
I mean, she had quite a few mil of views. It was like about 60, 70 mil, which was
On the
big.
rise, yeah.
But because she blew up first in Germany.
I didn't know that.
A lot of big acts worldwide blew up first in Germany. It's a really good hub for music as well, apparently.
We just had my good friend Vico Furman from Germany on the podcast speaking
know
about
him.
a lot of
Alex Veliz is
Yes.
he still like is he
Yeah.
still working with him?
yeah,
Okay, nice.
What's the name of the guy again?
Vico.
Started with Ricky Martin.
Vico. Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine. Yeah.
Yeah, wicked.
Yeah. I remember him now. And but at the time, so we had that loop with them, and then finally built it into a song, created sections and stuff, and wrote the song with Dua and Chelsea Grimes.
It took a long time because they didn't really want the song, I think.
I mean, really funny fact about that song that not a lot of people know, but now we can tell.
Yeah, we can
right?
say it, yeah.
So we had the record there, and Jules, Sean Paul's manager, she was like, I fucking love the song, but
I
3
want
years
it.
after, 2 years and a half after, it was last summer, she really wanted it for Sean. Island Record wanted it for Sean. So then we went to Jamaica to work with Sean last summer and did
To
other
finish
records.
the song, yeah.
But the main goal was undercover to finish that song. So we were trying to get him on the verses, read on the vocals from Dua, for another girl, just like a kind of a generic. So
But the main thing with Sean, and he was like, "Nah, man, bad man not sing about kiss and makeup." So we had to change the whole lyric. It was really complicated. It was like trying to fit a triangle in the
it
circle.
wasn't
you know?
for him. It wasn't for
No.
him. And we had such great records with him. That Shot and Wine we've done for him and Stefflon. And I don't know if you know that record. So we've done it there during that trip. And
I
some
like
other
Steph
stuff.
London a lot.
Yeah,
I think she's
yeah,
very,
yeah,
very
yeah.
interesting artist.
We actually, oh no.
I mean,
Can we?
I think we can say we have an upcoming single for our project
With
as Banx
her,
Ranx with her,
Congratulations.
Young and Young Bane.
Yes.
I'm very excited to hear that. That's gonna be dope.
I mean, no one else knows about it, but you're the first
Thank you
one
for
to
the
know.
exclusive.
We
You
got
heard
the
it first on the
exclusive.
M.O.T
Thank you, guys.
podcast. Banx Ranx, Steph London.
So just to finish with that Kiss and Makeup song, then it was kind of a struggle. But while we were in Jamaica, management didn't tell us because shit happened, and basically Duo's people wanted the record back, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to put Anita on it and Blackpink." Finally, Anita didn't really happen for some reason. Then it was Blackpink, and it was the first time you had those kind of collaboration between like a European worldwide artist with a Korean girls band. So it was like kind of feeling that
Historical,
we were kind of
yeah.
historical
Yeah.
moment for pop music. And it turned out to be great. And yeah, so far so blessed. No pun intended again.
It's one of those, they didn't even make it a single.
I feel like the timing is very
Still one of our
interesting
biggest streaming songs.
for your project too, because I feel like right now, as the borders were melting away with technology, like we've been talking
Yeah.
about, now even the language barriers are melting away. You got K-pop exploding, you got French music exploding, Afro beats out of here,
Yeah.
reggae been out of here, Latin now top of the
Yeah,
pops of the top of
dominating.
the top.
Yeah.
Interesting time for an international project for you guys. I feel like you fit well in that pocket, so I'm really
Thanks,
really
man.
happy for you guys.
But this is where we actually like you were saying about the fact that we were really at the beginning we created and called it ECM, Electronic Caribbean Music, whatever. But now it's like more world modern pop music, and like see it more like
I like that world pop.
World
and
pop.
it took for us to be ahead of our time for a few years in order to get where we're at and to be ready when the time is right.
That always happens.
Because, I mean, there's producers that just piggyback ride and jump on the latest trend and try to emulate. But the thing with world music, you need to understand the science and do your research and a lot of trial and error to understand the codes.
And embrace the different cultures and actually really dig into it in the
Eat
playlist.
the
and
food,
like,
chill with the people, and understand how people live in that
so
area of
dope,
the world.
guys.
I love that you said that, because something I was talking about with Vico was he was saying the same thing. You need to do music that's true to yourself, that you really enjoy.
Yeah.
And rather than making music for an intended audience, make music for yourself and find your audience.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, it sounds simple, but it's a real gem, and it's a real pitfall that a lot of people fall into.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, Daddy Yankee has the biggest smash this summer.
We're gonna
I need
copy
to
the
do some
song.
Daddy Yankee
Yeah.
shit. But by the time your version comes out, that's not the
has
wave.
been
That's
already.
exactly.
Yeah.
But you still have to know where you're heading and who you're making music for. When we were doing the ECM thing, it was kind of like in French we say le cul entre deux chaises, the ass between two chairs. There's no like
That
the EDM
actually should be
scene.
the name of a project.
The EDM didn't want to hear that.
EDM, they don't want it. They
You
don't want to hear Caribbean music, and Caribbeans they feel insulted when you you mess with their music. So
Not this year.
I remember one thing though.
true.
I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah,
I
but they'll prefer listening to Celine Dion over stuff like that, though.
I heard a new song won't play on the radio here or something. I just saw the title
Really?
from Journal de Montréal or whatever, some stuff like that.
Celine?
Celine Dion, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Probably. I didn't read it. I just saw.
Because she's doing trap music. She's mumble rap.
With Migos.
But I mean, it sounds funny to say, but we do this in hip hop music and in urban music, whatever you want to call it. I hate that term, but whatever. All the time, we try and adapt to what's going. But Celine Dion would never have a mumble rapper on her song because she understands how ridiculous that would be. But a lot of times when it comes to hip hop, people think it's just the Wild West.
Yeah.
And they really end up,
There's a science behind it.
There's a science behind it.
But yeah, like funny fact I was gonna say is, I won't name drop the name of the guy that said that to you, but a really famous producer from somewhere in the world said to Soke back then when we started Banx Ranx, and he said, no one wants to hear that. You guys not gonna do anything. You're not gonna succeed. It's never gonna work. Stop that shit now.
Oh, everybody has a story like that.
Yep.
So to this friend,
I mean, we were looking up to this guy. Like, he built something great in the music that we love, and hearing such a negative perception of what we're trying to do or what we were doing. I think the key was to take that and use it as fuel.
I was just going to say that. And I think
That's
sometimes
it.
when you have somebody
Yeah.
who you really look up to, you really respect musically, say that to you, I feel like it's almost a blessing, because that is really the fuel that you're going to need.
Yep.
Right? Because if everybody's a yes man and if everybody says it, you're going to fizzle.
yeah, that's
Creatively.
pretty true.
No, you
Creatively.
need those comments to
I
to
just
test
think
yourself.
Yes.
Am I really doing what I want to do?
Character
Am I
test.
made for this?
Character
If a comment
test.
like that would affect us, maybe we're not strong enough to do this.
And
supposed
maybe
to
he
do
would
it.
actually be right.
Maybe he would.
Here's the
But there
interesting-
was some truth in that comment, though. There was some truth that we still had
needed to
to
readjust.
adapt and craft our sound to cater to a larger
No
audience.
shame in that. We all have to continuously master our craft or we fall off.
You have to reassess
I
all
mean,
the
the-
time.
You're
The
whack
day-
when you stop mastering your craft.
Exactly. The
That's
day you-
literally
Yeah.
the...
Yeah.
The day you say that you can't learn anything more, then you're done. You're
You're
done.
whack, or
Yeah,
by
whack.
definition of that.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because it just out of the blue, full circle story. So Fuji's was on top of the world once upon a time, and I went to, I think it was Hit Factory in New York to meet Praz and Veda, who produced the entire Lauryn Hill Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
God.
So I'm sitting in this, multi-million-dollar studio. I'm 15 years old, and I rap my heart out for this producer. His name was Veda and Praz. And this is coming off of Lauryn Hill's
Biggest
smash,
success,
right?
yeah.
And Fuji's is the biggest shit in the world. And the producer loves my shit. And Praz says, you could rap, there's no debating that, but it'll never work as a solo artist.
Really?
You need to find another white boy who can rap just as well as you, because when you think about it, there's, only one Eminem, and there's only one Christina Aguilera, and there's only one NSYNC. So, because there's M, you got to have a gimmick, like you need to have like a white Mobb Deep or something, right? So then I said to him, well, there's Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears, and there's New Kids on the Block, and there's NSYNC,
Backstreet Boys.
and there's Jay-Z, and there's Nas, and there's Pac, and there's Biggie. But maybe you know something I don't. I mean, these guys sold a gazillion records, right?
Yeah.
So the producer tells me, and I don't even know who he is in this conversation. He goes, listen to me. I produced all of Lauryn Hill's album. I wasn't credited properly. I'm going through a huge lawsuit. It's going to come out. Anyways, I would love to work with you. I think your shit's fire. So I kind of took it with a grain of salt because I'm like, you sure you produced all of Lauryn Hill's album? Like, I never heard about you, know? But, fast forward a few months, there's a big write-up in the Source. He won millions.
Wicked.
It was true.
Good for him.
And so, I just thought it was a silly comment. But, years pass, and a friend of mine calls me and says, yo, Praz is going to be in Montreal alone. Could you go pick him up from his hotel?
I thought you said, could you go fuck him up?
Could you go pick him up? Could you go
gonna
pick
be
him
alone.
up?
Guards
Could you
down.
go pick him up from his hotel and take him out? I told him
Yeah.
you're a good friend of mine, and so I pick up Praz and he's sitting in my car. We go for dinner at Houston's, and we're how so and so, and then I'm like, I don't know if you remember,
Yeah. How
But
many years was that?
20 years ago.
Shit. He probably didn't, right?
No, actually less than 20 years ago. I was 14, 15 at the time.
Okay.
16 years, whatever it was.
Yeah. Still.
And I said, we were at Hit Factory, and I tell him the story, and he's fucking, we're eating, and it's just me and him having dinner. This is how full circle. And he had a good laugh, and he goes, yo, I don't remember saying that, but that's some stupid shit that I said.
So the lesson is, be careful what comes out of your mouth.
And he goes, I hope you didn't listen to that. And we had the best weekend.
Oh,
we went
great.
out, we partied. He's a great guy. And, shit comes full circle in life, and nobody has a crystal ball. And sometimes the moral of what I'm trying to say is an opinion is just a fucking opinion.
Yeah.
Even if it's from somebody you really fucking look up to.
Yeah.
We're all human.
100%.
I could listen to a beat and be like, it's not trash, but I don't hear myself on it, like Sean Paul.
Yeah.
That might be and he might hate it. That might be the biggest record you guys ever do.
Yeah.
Yep. You never
Just
know.
because we hate it, because maybe our sensibility is so traditional
perception.
and organic that we're missing I've heard from one of the first people I worked with as a kid, this is that conversation, pre-Guru, was Raheem from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Yeah.
The motherfucker wrote, "Don't push me because I'm
Yeah.
close to the..."
Yeah.
That was the first commercial smash in hip hop. He said they hated the song, and somebody had to pull a gun on somebody to force them to finish the motherfucker. Because they were like, yo, this shit is too commercial. We don't want to do this shit.
Yeah.
We're from the South Bronx. This shit is do. It was like, disco music for them. And it's one of the biggest songs in rap history to
That's
this
what's up,
day.
man.
They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because of this shit.
Yeah. Because of that song.
Personal friends told me this shit. Shout out to my brother Raheem. Shout out to Kijana, who was actually my first manager when I was a youth.
Damn.
But I saw this lesson, and my manager telling me when I'm 15 years old, I was living in South Jamaica, Queens, sleeping on his couch, running to Def Jam and staking out labels, waiting for executives to come out, my manager almost getting hit by a fucking UPS truck.
Oh
or
yeah,
a
you told
FedEx
me
truck.
that story.
It's, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm in the sun and I'm like, bro, we can't stake out record labels. This is insane. And he's like, there's only one door they come out of.
Yeah.
And you're going to fucking rap for them.
Yeah,
and if I got to wait 5 hours or 10 hours, and we went back and we got that meeting because of that extreme, shit people weren't willing to do. All that to say, I remember him telling me, Bless, I had a fucking label deal with MCA Uptown, which was like Jodeci and all of that shit. Yeah. And he goes, and there was a guy who nobody thought much of yet, who was an intern, used to get me my coffee and my donuts. That's Puff Daddy.
Oh shit.
What?
That's a fact. And I said, he didn't used to get your coffee and donuts, bro. Shut the fuck up. And he said, bless, don't be so cocky. You're just a kid. He goes, do you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I'm from Montreal. I'm enjoying it, but I'm like,
course.
you know, we like to give a little pushback. I don't care just because I'm in New York. You know, I'm not buying everything. He said, a word. And it was like 2000 when Puff got the baby blue Bentley, and you know had the minks and all, you know, the Nas You Can Hate Me Now era, all that.
Wow.
And he brought me to the video shoot, him and R. Kelly, Puff and R. Kelly, and I'm just a kid. And fucking Puff walks up to my manager, gives him a big fucking hug, and I saw by their interaction, this is fucking true.
Yeah.
He was his fucking intern, and that's this business. Anybody you step over going up that ladder, it's okay if you step on their hands, you know, because everybody's holding on, but say, excuse me, brother, I don't mean to step on your hand. Just move your hand. I'm just trying to go up here. Yeah. Because when you fall off, if you're one of those fuckers who are like,
all those people,
fuck you, I'm going up. They're just going to let you keep falling forever.
100%.
You know, and there are good people in this business that will reach back and vice versa.
The good ones stick around. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the only industry where you can be a criminal, have like a murder charge, and you're accepted amongst artists, right?
That's
like,
really true.
It's, you
And
know,
you get a doctorate.
that's what I'm saying. So the real ones stick around.
When you didn't actually go to school.
Exactly.
See, I'm working on my Harvard degree doing this podcast because I don't want to actually study. I'm hoping somebody's going to give me an honorary degree for
Dr. Bless. I like
as a
it.
historian.
No, but the thing is, with this music business and everything in life, you never know who's gonna be who.
No.
Yeah.
So be respectful to anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, when we go on sets or whatever, we actually don't. We chill with everyone, but we chill with the proper staff, the people, the security.
Oh, so important.
This is the people that are looking after you. These are
and
the
to
nice
thank
people.
them for their job.
Yeah, of
Not
course.
to be like, oh, I don't care that you're doing security.
Nah, never.
You know what I'm saying? I met a lot of great friends of mine who were, you know, bodyguards and doing security and in nightlife, and they ended up being major hookups for other people when they would come to town because they were like, yo, this is my homie Bless. He does this thing. You guys should. So it's beyond just, you never know who's who. I feel it's important to give a shot to people artistically who deserve it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Even just like the extras on the video shoot.
Yeah.
Just saying hi, hey, what's up? Thanks
Anybody.
for being here. That never happens. They're like, yo, this is amazing. Artists never do that.
Yeah.
Why not?
And
it
let's
takes
be
5
real.
minutes.
That small impression that you leave on somebody who fucks with your music is so exponential for your business if you look at it from a compounding perspective. Because when somebody has a good experience with you as a fan, they're your fan for life.
Yeah.
That's
They
really
will
true.
fucking support everything you do. And what did it take you?
But
Hey, take a beer from the fucking fridge. You're not paying for it anyways.
Exactly.
Because you genuinely appreciate their support.
But that's
It's
true.
important.
But at the beginning, I don't think we do it even in that purpose. It's just naturally we love the people and we love to be with the people and show the
Absolutely.
people. That's the really first thing. And then, like, you know, hopefully after you convert people in like true fans, then it's better. But
Bro, I would do shows, and when I sold a certain amount of merch that I was happy with, anybody who want, I would just say,
Give the
yo,
rest.
just take it.
That's dope.
Just take it. You want it because I never forgot the first major celebrity I ever met, ironically, was Tupac.
Yeah.
And there's that little picture,
remember
that
you said
famous
that.
picture that I
Yeah,
put in
yeah.
my first album. And I was maybe 11, 12 years old only. And the time that he took, you know what I mean, to kneel down, to talk with me, I spit for him. I said, oh, can I get on? He said, fuck, an autograph. There was somebody taking pictures. He paid for the picture. He chilled for like 20 minutes with us, spoke to my pops. It's not that that's what made me a fan for life of Pac, because we were all fans of Pac.
Yeah.
But that's what really embedded in my brain. That's why this man is an icon.
Yeah.
Because there was more to him than the image or the music. That's why Nipsey had such an impact even prior to passing.
There's a human being behind the whole.
Right, so there's
There you
this
go.
there's this narrative that everybody wants to play the tough guy, the cool guy, the superstar, the rock star. But at the end of the day, do you want to be somebody who had a couple songs, or do you want to be iconic?
Yeah.
And I think that personality and charisma has so much to do with being iconic. You know what I mean? Mick Jagger did something very right.
Yeah.
You know, health-wise and tour-wise, beyond just the records. because there was a lot of people who made great
We were
music.
supposed to work on a Mick Jagger song.
I'm down.
Yeah.
If you need me on the remix, I got you.
That was a remix. We were supposed to do a remix, but it wasn't really for us, so we kind of turned it down.
See, Mick Jagger, I don't imagine will be doing trap records either.
He wanted us
with
to do the
Stormzy,
remix.
right? Was it
Yeah.
A
with Stormzy?
remix though, but would keep the vocals the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty open for us to do our thing.
Fuck
But,
around with, yeah.
you know, sometimes it's a funny story about remix.
Well, maybe
like
he's
that as
losing
well.
his mind. Maybe
No, I don't know. He wanted us because I think probably because
I
of
would
the-
be
the
as
Gorillaz remix.
producers and writers. I would be scared. I would be excited, but I would be scared for
No,
you.
but that's true.
because
Yeah.
you don't want to drop that ball.
You know, a funny story like that. So I'm a huge, probably one of the biggest fans of Jamiroquai. You know Jamiroquai, obviously.
I'm one of the hugest fans.
Okay.
Fight. Let's see who's
We
the
can
biggest.
definitely get along over that, and I'm not going to cut you off because I'm not in the business of doing that. Let me. But but
Shots fired.
you're actually doing fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That wasn't a shot. That was a big up. We
you,
preach
thank you.
inclusiveness. But Jamiroquai and Guru, Jasmine second or third
Jazzmatazz.
Jazzmatazz was on Guru's album.
That's hard.
Wow.
But fucking Jamiroquai is an icon, so please speak on
So
it.
the thing is, we were in the A&R's office at Virgin on the latest record he done. It was like, what, 2-3 years ago now? 3 years ago now, I think. Time flies, man. And he was like, yeah, you're a fan, cool. Let me see what I can do. He's like, then he called us. He said, I have a surprise for you. It's up for you guys to remix the first single. And I remember I called you and I was like, bro, what
were
do we
stressing
do?
out.
I was stressing out. The whole weekend I was just partying, but thinking of,
That's
bro,
a
I
GOAT
can't.
moment right there. That's
Yeah.
a GOAT moment.
And I said, so, okay, no, we can't do it. Like,
No, you have to.
We had to
No.
politely turn it down.
What?
bro, because you don't understand.
Now we do have to fight. Let me cut.
No, because you don't want to touch what's been done by
And
the
do it
fucking
worse.
genius.
But guess what? That's a once in a lifetime opportunity. You got to take that, bro.
No. It was more, I think,
the
integrity.
choice of song as well wasn't for us.
Okay.
Chose- but
There was
there
a
was
creative difference.
Yeah.
Maybe, but not just that. I think is Jamiroquai's record, and this is what I realized, they're his records.
Yeah.
You can't touch them. It's like, you wouldn't go and remix Michael Jackson, like, for real. You
I
understand?
know what you mean.
So, yeah, that was, yeah.
I'm not fully understanding though. Like you would do another record with him, just certain ones you won't touch, like two iconic.
We would build a
do
new song
Yeah,
with him,
new
yeah.
song
Right,
together.
but the
touch
iconic
what's
old
there,
ones, you're like,
nah.
Is there anyone else on that list?
That we refused?
Yeah, no, maybe that you refuse or that you would refuse.
I mean, we refused the Mick Jagger stuff.
Like Jagger.
Mick Jagger was the big one.
Mick Jagger and Jamiroquai is enough. You guys are getting carried away.
Gorillaz. We did Gorillaz though. That was fucking amazing.
Because
What was the
it
Gorillaz
was
song
for
you
us.
guys
We could
did?
turn it into something. The Saturn's Bars.
Saturn's
with,
Bars and
Popcorn,
the one with Pusha T.
And what's the name of that legend? Oh,
Mavis.
Mavis Staples.
Yeah.
Staples.
Tell me a couple of your other biggest accomplishments music-wise, like other records you've done. So there's Dua Lipa, there's
Yeah.
Gorillaz. Just
Definitely.
for
We did
people who
like
aren't familiar.
20 songs with Sean.
Yeah, we wrote a lot of songs with Sean. More upcoming records. We've done the Mad Love record for Sean.
David Guetta.
Production with David Guetta, Sean. The Sean Stefflon Don Shot and Wine. His latest EP before that, we've done like.
Oh,
probably
Nicky
4.
Jam. We got a platinum plaque for Nicky Jam.
What was the song?
No te puedo olvidar.
Yeah, we got Grammy nominated for this.
Grammy,
one,
yeah.
actually,
Fuck
as
yeah,
well.
congratulations.
For the Latin
Thanks, man.
Grammy. Thanks, man.
That's
Nice.
dope.
What else? Like the Olimers, the Ansophone, obviously.
Ansophone's one of our biggest, yeah, and we're proud to say that it's our own record, which is amazing.
We got actually another one coming up with Ella
Yeah.
on the 5th of August.
Yeah,
it's gonna
so
be
this
hopefully
one is
another
our
big
next
one.
release. We're so hype about this one. It's a Brazilian funk track that we adapted to what we do.
Sick.
Yeah, it's gonna be
I love that.
mad with
Remix.
Kiana Lede,
Yeah, Kiana Lede. She's an American singer.
American. I think she's an actress as well. Huh?
So it's Ella Air and yeah, Kiana is on the middle eight. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's an actress.
Do you have a release date on your project?
On our
Like you
album
said before,
or-
yeah, you said there was an album, right? There's an album.
No,
in the
not
works?
yet, not yet.
No?
We signed for 4 albums, but
Four.
I think we're gonna.
So what's the
reconsider.
strategy as far as Banx Ranx? Obviously, the writing and producing is keeping you
Yeah.
guys busy. Are you guys just going to roll out some singles sooner than
Yeah,
later?
singles
Yeah.
for now. Most of the time we go in the session for our own project, but we never really break our heads. We just go in there
Make
with
what
no
we do
expectation, do what we do, and then
See,
after that,
see where the pieces
the
fit.
team will say, okay, this is a potential single for us. This one, not so much. Let's pitch it out. But there's not really a like a strategy. I think we're just going one song at a time.
Making records. The most important is, and we were talking about it today with our managers, is it's all about the record.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're record chasers, basically. So we'll always, even listening to other people's record, like we're like, when we're in session, we're like, guys, do you have other records sitting on your hard drive? Please send it our way.
Mm-hmm.
We can probably recreate a new production around it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we write the songs because we're actually writers as well. More and more we write melodies and lyrics and stuff. But it's all about like finding not a good beat or a good a cappella. It's like a good song overall.
Throughout this whole process, we realized that we were basically just beat makers and artists before, and there was no link between the two hats. And throughout the whole process, we became the real definition of a music producer is somebody who creates songs and not just beats or backing tracks.
Exactly.
That's right. That's such a gem. And I think that's something that flies over a lot of people's heads.
Yeah.
I think they get confused. I think somebody who can make a dope beat or who can write a hot 16 or a catchy hook still doesn't understand that there's still another level.
Bigger picture. You need to be confident enough to tell Rihanna that what the take she just did was not good enough.
Rihanna was shit. No, I wouldn't say that way. Hey, babe, what do you think you just did? Sure about it. Maybe it could work, but maybe what if we try something else?
I'm sure she would appreciate that sexual aggressiveness that he was just doing. The Me Too podcast.
Yeah. No. Cut that. Please cut that.
I'm curious because you guys both kind of started in different places.
Yeah.
When you guys come together in a studio session, let's say it's like a bigger session.
Yeah.
Like, what's your vibe? Like, do you need like the lights low, incense? Is someone got to get stoned first?
Easy going.
Yeah, I mean, we usually start with a lot of jokes and maybe talk for an hour with the artists and see where they're at emotionally and in their lives and what they like to listen to. And we usually build off of the moment that you have with artists. You know, I just broke up with my boyfriend or whatever, my girlfriend.
Well, I remember that day the girl was hangover. I said, "Oh, I know that," and then
we
wrote that song as well. So basically the way they
connect
feel.
and break the ice first, and then start with chords or.
But
a drum loop
workflow wise, do you guys sometimes come up with ideas separately, or do you guys always do sessions together?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, so our workflow, I'd say, in a session, we both know how to do the same stuff, but we know our strengths as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in the session, we will do it the way it goes, but then when we separate it, then he's home and I'm home, and then
You might polish it separately and
But the core is done together.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
sometimes you would do a beat on your own, I'd do a beat on my own, then we send it to each other. We're like, oh, love it. We could use this for that or da. And then we strip down some ideas for session, or we use it and we finish the beat, or we have many different ways of working.
Funny enough, anything that we do beforehand rarely amounts to anything concrete. Which is funny because we could never imagine that before. We would prepare
I would
like
think
40
the
beats
opposite. Yeah, I would
before
think the
a
opposite.
writing trip.
Yeah.
And
Like
it
stressing out, we need more beats and playing people beats, and they
It
don't
would
get
never work.
excited. Like,
I think maybe they get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It gets lost in
Yeah.
the shuffle.
Yeah.
I've had that too, like when me and my partner, we have like so many tracks, and then it's like we just get the artist
You
gets
get lost.
overwhelmed,
The beat is supposed to be the plate for the meal, The meal is the singer, the songwriter.
Exactly. And the thing is, at the beginning, when we started, I remember in London, like 4 years ago, we were coming with all those beats and stuff, and on all the pop side. And the thing is, they were overloaded.
There was no room for the writer, for the singer.
And we're like, oh, why it's so busy? It sounds weird. It doesn't. But because a
There needs
beat
to be
is a
space.
beat and it has to just carry on the top line and not have to overpower the top line. So,
That's such a gem. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people, especially from a producer's perspective, they want to, show off their skills so badly.
ego.
They're like the DJ scratching behind the back. And,
literally.
and it's
While the
yo,
guy's
guys,
singing,
like,
yeah.
I wanna
nobody can
dance.
dance because you're fucking DJ Qbert. You know what I mean?
100%.
Give a little musical scratch like a premiere, a chip-a-tip-a 1 2 again.
And that's
it. Because that's not music. And then a lot of producers say, "Oh, I have 4 drum patterns and 16 melodies, and whoa, wait to drop." Womp, 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 womp. And nobody can sing or rap on womp, 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 womp. And that's
so
why
true.
Exactly that.
that's maybe made for more instrumental music.
Less is more.
I mean,
Less is always more.
Yeah.
Funny story when we were in LA, and so we done a session with Jason Derulo. I don't know if the track's gonna come out. It's gonna be someone else cutting it, but anyways, cool vibe, cool dude with his team.
Super cool.
We did the beat in literally 2 minutes?
Yeah.
2 minutes. Soke prepared a drum loop before that was wicked. He played it. We're like, oh, groove. Came, did the bass. Doom, 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 doom,
That's
doom.
it.
That's it. We gave them the track, and it was all about Jason doing his thing. And then we gave it to the engineer. It's rare we work with engineer in sessions, but he was really good. So we gave him the stems, 2 stems, I think, literally, probably 3 with the kick. A pad or just a pluck after, and then he done his thing and he stack up with all those harmonies and stuff, and we were actually like producing by just telling, "Oh, maybe try this, try that," but the beat
We would have never made a beat like that on our own.
Yeah, because if you remove the vocals, there is nothing. There's not even a beat.
So interesting. Once he put his melodies and he put his vocals on it, did you guys then add a couple little?
One pluck.
We tried, but it didn't work.
Wow. So it was like one of those minimal
Yeah. Bass and drums.
Pharrell kind of,
Yeah.
I imagine, right?
Yeah.
And it works. It just works. It's all
course it
about the
works.
groove. You have a great bass line. The guy on top of it just is like stacks of
yeah.
harmonies,
Yeah.
and it sounds wicked.
Well, I think who's a shining example of that, when you really think about it, Drake's biggest records have been very minimally,
Minimal.
very minimal,
Everything is filtered and his voice is right in front.
easier to digest.
I always
Yeah.
think of that 3D image of music, like
Yeah.
there's that
Yeah.
like picture,
Yeah.
and Drake's like literally in the front, and like
yeah,
that's it,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
That's a
literally
good
that. You have the
analogy.
lows, you have like the middles, and then the voice, and then
You have to
that's it.
understand how frequencies work and where each element sits.
Yeah.
Take notes, all you producers out there. Take notes.
There's an image on Google that if you haven't seen it, you should. It's
Yeah?
like it's a picture of music and where everything's supposed to be. The bass is in the middle line,
find
to
it?
like
Can
right
you-
and left. I can,
After-
definitely.
yeah, we'll
I'll
see.
find
Love to see it.
Nice. But I mean, it's good to picture music. I have a condition called synesthesia, where you see shapes and colors in music, and it kind of helped me through my production to visualize what I'm doing with listening with my eyes.
This is like a quantified disorder that you have?
Yeah, a lot of musicians have it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking interesting.
They use it usually to build their the lighting for their performances, so that the lighting matches the song.
I have a problem like that. When I close my eyes, I don't know what's the name of that condition, but I see naked girls.
That's a great problem.
It's called syphilis. And you're in good company. Al Capone had that too. Maybe you got to do some more gangster rap, some more Chicago drill music. I'll help you with that.
Oh man.
That's fucking interesting. So basically, what's next on the agenda for you gentlemen? You guys are killing it.
Next release, I think
We're
it's
going to
early
London in 10
August.
days.
Going to London. We got actually
They're
few
making you leave the
songs
city.
lined up. Huh?
They're making you leave the city. You're mad now, right?
Yeah. No, we go like every 2 months.
Okay.
It's like the routine now.
Last year was hectic though. We were going like every 3 weeks.
I
And
can imagine that gets very expensive because no matter what
Oh
you're
my
making to
God,
go
so
there,
much.
London will eat you up.
yeah, but the
It's
thing
about
is,
10 grand a trip, maybe more.
Minimum.
yeah, around that, something
Yeah.
like that.
You got to count because we pay for everything: studio,
Oh, I know.
transportation,
Oh, I
plane
know.
tickets, food,
I know.
Airbnb.
Oh, I know.
It goes fast. It goes
Yeah.
really
It goes
fast.
fucking fast, especially with that horrific exchange rate.
That's what people like. You need a lot of money to do this job.
This is what you said as well. Like if you live in London and you want to ball, like you could probably ball here in Montreal with a couple mil.
Yeah.
There you have to be like having at least like 100 mil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, when you think about it, London's a gorgeous place and it's a world-class city, but
I love it.
like people who aren't from there, you don't hear them moving there. Like, you know what I mean? You don't hear like, oh, Britney Spears moved to London. Like, I'm sure she could, but she won't. And it's not because it's in Europe, you know what I mean? It's like, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's expensive. So you guys next on the agenda, London.
So London, we have the record coming out on the 5th of August.
What's it called?
Mama. So it's Ella Airtime Banx Ranx with featuring Kiana Lede.
Nice.
We're working on our publishing company.
as well.
That's early days, but it's still in the works.
31s, baby.
You know, I got to do another piece for you
Yeah.
when the time is right.
Yeah.
I will make sure that thing shines
A bit more.
exquisitely. Unless
We're
love
also, you know, keeping a foot in Quebec and trying to build stuff here, work with artists here. But yeah, we don't see that far in the future.
We have our Nigerian artists as well that we found that we're signing as well as we speak. I mean, we signed him basically, but just building him now.
from there?
From Nigeria.
Yeah.
He's based there. I'm actually gonna see him in London next week.
what's the artist's name?
We can't say.
Okay.
Can't
still
say.
low-key.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
You'll let me know off camera.
Yeah, you will hear about it for sure.
But we kind of have a hint that Afrobeat is the next wave, so we want to get there in advance and build something, because those guys, they stay in Africa. They're self-sufficient there, so
That's such a huge market.
it's
there on
huge.
their own, yeah.
But it's hard to export it
Sure.
worldwide. So we're trying to.
But
do
I
that.
feel like that sound is so, like we said, world pop. I feel like that sound, those African drums, there's something very magical about it.
And the top lines as well, they're really
it's
strong.
really unique. Yeah.
It's
Very
proper
musical.
pop and musical. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like
It's
they could be
exciting.
like big pop writers as well. It would work.
It's a really exciting time for international music, and I feel like some great music's going to come out of this next wave because I feel like it went, from, 60s high creativity, 70s great, 80s very interesting, 90s hip hop, 2000s back down degeneration, but I feel like we're going to hit a real golden era of music even outside of hip hop.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to hear that. I guess my last question for you gentlemen would be, and this is for each of you, I'd love for you to answer separately. What drives you and what defines you?
Look at Bless asking some serious questions. Damn.
Okay, cool.
No problem. First thing that comes to your mind, like the beat when you step in the session.
So
Don't
the
overthink
drive
it.
is definitely. I don't think we really chose what we're doing. I think it comes from conception. I mean, personally, that's the only thing I wanted to do. From I was a kid listening to Michael Jackson, and like already I knew that I wasn't listening to music like a regular person. I was dividing
Actually
all the layers in the song,
seeing shapes and colors.
Yeah, exactly. So I was already
girls. Syphilis.
I was already, as a kid, I was already listening like a producer. I remember I was recording my friend playing drums on the little Fisher Price thing when I was like 7. It was always in the works, in the plans to do that, but I didn't understand it and know that it could be a career. I just did it. And so the drive is just, passion and as a purpose to create something that's timeless, I guess, and influence and affect people in a positive way. And obviously we want to be the best.
Forever trying to make that perfect record. Every artist's mission and curse.
And so the drive, and of course I got 2 beautiful kids, so they help me to ground myself and to work harder. What was the other drive and what defines us?
You,
Me.
not us, because he's going to answer separately.
So is it on the music side or in general in life?
There's no wrong answer.
No wrong
However
answer.
you take it. It's a general question because it's such a broad question that I find, you learn a lot when people pick it.
Yeah,
It was
that's
just a
true.
dope
If
ass
music
question.
defines you,
Yeah,
it's
it
going to
is.
be in
It
relation
is.
to music.
It's philosophy, yeah.
If music defines you and you're totally upset, then maybe it's the kids.
Music definitely defines me. But in the past few years, I kind of worked on myself and on my relation with music, and took a step back, especially emotionally, to not define myself only with music. For first 20 years, music was my self-confidence, my image, the way I interacted with people, the way people looked at me, looked up, And if you take away music, what is there left? And that's what I needed to work on and say, if I lose all of that,
You have to be a
will
real
I be
person,
okay?
and you have to be.
And the answer is yes.
That's great. That's a great place to be, and I'm smiling from ear to ear because I literally went through that this year.
Wicked.
That's
You told me.
exactly
You
how I
told me.
was
You mentioned it.
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. So you
I'm very
gain
happy
power
for you.
with that.
It is, and you know, ironically, the business and the music starts to really flow better once you're able to do that.
Yeah, because you don't depend on it for your happiness. And for so long, it was just that, like,
where even it doesn't, it's not your identity.
Yeah. You know?
Well, it's part of your identity.
It is.
But if it
you
is
can't
your
escape from it.
personal identity, you're going into some dark places.
Yeah, that's true.
And we've all been there, I'm sure.
Yeah,
because you're vulnerable. You depend on your music for everything in your life.
That's right.
Yeah.
So apart from that, health, mental health, physical health, being happy, I think, is just the key, man. Like assessing all the aspects of your life, you know, family, friends, self-care, self-development, and really making sure that finance, business, everything is balanced and equal, you know. If your work, like our work is amazing right now, but if everything else in my life was shit, it would definitely affect my work and everything would crumble. So you need
balance.
Yeah.
It's all about balance for sure.
Yeah. Taking time for yourself and also we're lucky that we don't have to work. And we're very grateful.
It's rare that I feel that I work. When I feel that we work is when we do all the
bouncing
corporate
stems
stuff,
and signing contracts,
or signing contracts, or going through accountants and whatever. But yeah, other than that, it doesn't feel like work.
We can enjoy life.
That's a beautiful thing. What about you, my brother? What defines you?
What defines me? That was another one as well.
What drives you?
What drives me? What drives me? Cars. No, I'm kidding.
Nice spitting bars with the cars.
I'd say what drives me. That's really weird, but like Soke, I was always into music since I was a kid, being on softwares with loops and stuff, and then started to sing and record and produce and whatever at a really young age as well. And there was nothing to tell me that I would potentially be where I'm at today. And I don't know what kept me on the path of going and going and going. I think it's just
bigger than you. Yeah.
It's bigger than me. I didn't choose that.
You know what I always said when somebody said the obvious thing, man, bless, you're so lucky to do what you've done. You're so lucky.
It's not luck. It's
not luck.
To do this. And I said, I actually resent that because I think I'm actually very unlucky. But I will give you, in the luck department, the only thing I've been very lucky and very fortunate for is that for some fucking reason, and it defies logic, that I haven't given up.
That's it.
But you create that. You're responsible for that. Yeah.
But I said that's the only thing I feel lucky for or fortunate for is that I didn't stop.
But
other than that,
no, because you didn't choose that. I don't think you.
Well, I just
that.
think there's something in us that was maybe bigger than us and was maybe a subconscious
Just meant
thing.
to be.
Or no, just very powerful in our subconscious that made us continue down this road, no matter, even because a lot of times in my life and my career, it didn't make sense to continue.
No.
It wasn't the logical thing. It wasn't necessarily the right thing for the moment, but I felt something bigger than me. So I've only felt fortunate or lucky that I didn't stop. Other
Same
than that,
way.
I don't know how lucky I was, you know.
And maybe the key people that came on your path.
I think opportunity has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
If you get an opportunity and you're ready for it, like, I mean,
Take it.
I remember you from MySpace. You know what I
But
mean?
Lemmy,
Like,
but Lemmy.
you know, you
But
keep
let
going.
me,
Go.
don't you think, and this is an interesting question, that it's not logical to continue when opportunity is not coming?
Right.
And the people
This
who
is what I'm
win
saying.
push through that.
Yeah.
Right? And that's really what defines the people who are going to make it in this business and the people who might have been really talented but stopped. It wasn't for them.
And most of them, I think, don't make it because of that reason. I'm not saying that we made it. I think we keep on
still building,
pushing and
Yes,
pushing and
but
pushing.
they stop before something interesting can happen and take them to the next step.
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of examples of success stories where there was no opportunity at all and they had to create it for themselves.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Or just stay in pocket for a fucking decade
focused,
until the shit looped back around.
Yeah.
Who the fuck? Look at it like this, Lemmy, right? Imagine you miss a flight.
Yeah.
And they say, well, there's a flight in an hour. Well, anybody who's not a retard can wait for the next flight.
Yeah.
And then they say, there's not a flight till midnight. Happened many times to me in Europe.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to wait.
No choice.
And if they told you you're going to have to get a hotel room at your own expense, you'll do it anyways.
Yeah.
But how many people would stay in that airport for a week, a month, a year? Almost no one. But who knows what's at the end of that wait? Most people are just not prepared to take that trip.
Yeah.
There's a funny analogy.
That's really
There
true.
was I don't know if it's a true story. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. There was an ad in the paper for a very specific job, but it was very vague. It just said, great benefits, great salary, flexible hours, and there would be a date, a time, and a location. People would
This
go.
sounds like Deuce Bigelow Mill Jiggler. There would be a glory hole and a date and a time.
So people would go there and wait to be picked up for the interview.
Wow, okay.
And nobody would come. So there would be a bunch of people in the room, and slowly but surely, people look at the time. Okay, I've been here for 16 hours. Nothing's happening. This is a scam.
And that was the last
Until
one.
there was one guy left. He probably waited 20, 48 hours there. And it was for Secret Service
Wow.
or FBI or like an agency.
Is it
like
true?
Sick.
I mean, it could be true.
Maybe if they're looking for that specific character,
Yeah, sure.
that guy that would wait
Patient.
48 hours in a random room,
Yeah, sure.
not knowing what's
Just to
ahead.
observe.
Well,
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
This is the price of success. The price of success is
Persistence,
sacrifice.
sacrifice. Yeah, a lot.
That is the and by the way, the price of mastering your craft is
Yeah.
the same. You're never going to be world class as an MC, a writer, a producer, a fucking host of a show if you're not willing to really throw yourself into it blindly, even
And
when
keep
it's not
questioning
profitable.
yourself every day as well.
every day.
And when it's not profitable, when it's not
It's not always about money.
fulfilling.
No.
And when I say profitable, I mean when the buzz isn't there.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have done gigs for 2 people or 20,000 people, and you gave it the same energy.
Oh,
Yeah.
always.
And let me tell you, from personal
the
experience,
2 people is more stressful than the
yeah, and
2,000 people.
it's pretty soul crushing when you prepared your show and there's 20 people in the room
Yeah.
and you're like, damn, I performed with Gangstar all around the world and I was
Yep.
Guru's hype
Ego
man
again.
and I
Yep.
played with Akon in front of 20,000
I should get what I deserve.
deserve to be
Yep.
further than this.
Yep.
I shouldn't be doing this opening slot for fucking a few $100.
Life
but
doesn't owe
that's
you
the
shit. Yeah, it
fucking
doesn't.
price.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the price
Yeah.
of being here
Yeah.
or there or wherever you envision yourself.
And life, like Soke said, life doesn't owe you shit anyways. So like you can't expect people or whatever to give you that because you done this. They probably don't know it. And it's constantly have to remind yourself who you are as a human being, and you're just a human being. And I'm saying that for all of us. And just keep us down to earth, basically.
Our
Yeah,
humility.
keep your expectations.
So is that what defines
realistic.
you? Because you just said what drives you. What defines you?
So what drives me though? So that what kept me like
Focused.
having that
On
drive.
track.
It was the love of music for sure. Now what keeps on driving me is more accomplishment in this business, because it's not just as we're not just as music producers now. We're like become like businessmen as well. So it's like create companies, sign people, find talent, and like help other people with their craft as well.
Sure.
This is what really like gives me like
An excitement. to
an
continue.
excitement to like find this new kid in Nigeria and tell him, bro, you're gonna be the best fucking artist of all time. Trust me, because the way I trust in you, this is the way you should trust in yourself.
Sure, sure.
So give that energy the same way our manager give us that energy. So it's build a legacy. This is what drives me. This is what I love. And then buy lands and properties and stuff, not for the sake of buying and say I own. No, it's legacy. Build stuff for the next ones. Is it right? It's my kids or our artists or like you can see the bigger picture.
Sure.
Now, what defines me?
It's a hard one.
That's a hard one.
Maybe take yourself out of the musical perspective for a second.
Yeah. I'm really not thinking about the music as a human being. What defines me? I'd say I'm a highly sensitive person.
your biggest critic as well. You're always maybe trying to prove to yourself that you can still do it and better yourself all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm my worst. I'm my best friend and my worst enemy at the same time. I think we all
A lot of
are.
us are.
Yeah.
Sure.
But like Soke said, like I'm. What defines me is I will always trying to push the boundaries somewhere else, even though sometimes trying to push it too far won't especially make me happy. But just that I will always
Push forward.
push forward.
Yeah.
Push
Like that.
forward.
Life is movement.
And sometimes I can feel really down, and fortunately for that, I have the best partner in the world and other partners around us to, when the days are dark, then bring the bright side to it.
Well, he seems like a very level-headed guy, so I think it's a good.
We balance each
it's a
other
good
out
balance.
perfectly, man. We're very opposite, like two opposite personalities, but it works.
You
very
sign
well.
off water, I'm sign off fire. And this is what the Banx and Ranx as well.
Introverted, extroverted. Yeah.
And but we found our balance. So the thing is, I'd say keep on pushing, even though sometimes it's not like the best thing to do for my own sake, but I will keep doing it because I love it, and this is what defines me, and this is what drives me as well. So it goes kind of together in a way. So
Amazing.
Yeah, I think. I
Well,
hope
you
it
guys
helped.
seemed like you're doing a fucking hell of a job at it.
Respect.
Congratulations
Thanks,
and
man.
continued success. Thank you for
brother.
sharing your story. I feel like I got to know both of you guys a
Wicked.
lot more, and it's long overdue. This is the Moment of Truth podcast. Your boy Bless. Let-Me-Kno.
Thanks,
Very
guys.
special
Let-Me-Kno.
thank
Thanks,
you,
Bless.
gentlemen.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Banx and Ranx.
an
Amazing episode. You gave us a lot of game, a lot of priceless knowledge.
Thank you,
Keep fucking killing it, gentlemen. Thank you very much for
I see.